Well, hello, welcome to my live stream. Tonight I thought I'd talk about pen pals, and I'm experimenting with different times for these live streams, so we'll find out how this one goes. It's 7 p.m. where I'm at. Who knows where it is where you're at? I see I have two viewers on right now. I'm going to have to look over because my computer's over here, but after I do the writing part, then I can move my computer to a more comfortable place. But we've got ODE, so welcome ODE. 2 a.m. I will be fast asleep, but glad to have you. And yeah, I've heard it's warm there. So it's warm in the southern part of the U.S. also. Up where I'm at, it's cool. Like I was very comfortable today. No air conditioning or anything needed. Left the windows open all day. The only complaint I have is the very heavy smell of smoke in the air. Canadian wildfires are making their way down here again. So the sunlight is very orange outside. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about pen pals. I've got some visual aids here. So we'll do a little bit of down camera stuff, and then we'll pop back and do kind of the impromptu thing that I do. So I am always nervous to start a live stream, but they're fun once I get into them. So I do have paper. I wanted to have a large piece of paper I could do something on, and I don't have anything like that, but I remember the Moto Lisa gave me some paper from a notebook that was larger. So the Moto Lisa, if you don't know her, is the other fountain pen personality from North Dakota. She posts more on Instagram rather than YouTube, but anyway, she does view on YouTube, and she's got the personality. She could do a YouTube if she wanted to. So let's see, who else is here? We've got Kathy Scott. It's very, 95 degrees. Yeah, we got up to 90 once or twice this summer, just barely. So, yipe. Budapest, Hungary, 3 a.m. Wow. I don't know if I would be up that late either, but glad to have you. Central Indiana, you're probably an hour, maybe 2 hours ahead of me. It's at 7 p.m. here, a little after 7 p.m. And whoops, wrong comment. And then we've got Alan Perez. I hope I pronounced that right. From Indiana. I can't remember if you're 1 or 2 hours ahead of me. I know. I'm trying to remember. I think the Central Time border is somewhere like right around Gary, Indiana, if I'm remembering right. I don't know. It's been too long since I traveled that direction. Last time I traveled that direction, I flew in an airplane, so time zones really didn't matter. Okay, 9 p.m., so you're in the Eastern time. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Oh, wow. We've got New Zealand, currently at the National Museum, so the Wi-Fi may cut in and out. Well, that's fine. We're just glad to have you here. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about pen pals tonight and kind of answer questions along the way. I always feel like I need some kind of a theme for these live streams. I can't just show up. And I have to keep looking off camera because you're not visible till I get this done. Anyway, so I'm going to tilt the camera down and we're going to look at some stuff. And we turn. No, we don't turn. We press a button. There we go. So if it's a little blurry, that's okay. We'll get that fixed right away. So first thing, wanted to talk about pen pals. Well, hello, JS. Glad to have you. Wanted to talk about pen pals. So I've got this Pilot Parallel. I have not actually reviewed this pen, although I've used it a bit. I got this from filling it. But we're going to talk pen pals. So the ink in it is Yearbon Emerald Day Chivor. If you can't hear me or the lighting is a little goofy, like I think it's a little dark. Well, that didn't help a lot, but we'll see. Anyway, just let me know. But once this dries, I'll show you the sparkles. Anyway, I'm going to sort of make a concept map, and as I talk about different things, and again, jump in. So Alan asked about this pen a while back. This is a Waterman Hemisphere. Nope, sorry, Waterman Karen. This is called the Green Sea Finish. I was hoping it would be, let's try that. Nope, that didn't help. I was hoping it would be better lit on this than it is on the regular camera that I use. Oh, welcome from Monroe, Michigan. I don't know Michigan super well, so I don't know if you're in the upper or lower peninsula, but welcome. I've been to Michigan exactly once for probably about 2 minutes. we stayed in, I was 13 or 14 years old. We stayed in Elkhart, Indiana, and we were so close to Michigan that we decided we'll just drive up real quick, and so we can say we were there. Okay, so if I'm making a concept map, I'm going to start in the middle. So I have this filled with Diatramentis apple blossom. I see we're up to 15 viewers, so that's exciting. So when I'm talking pen pals, one of the things that we as humans need is that human contact. Halfway between Detroit and Toledo. Okay. So this is all about contact. Now, it's a slower method of contact. This is faster. We can email. There's lots of ways we can manage contact. But anyway, that's just one of the things. What I like about letters is it's a little bit slower. You have time to absorb it. You don't have to think on your feet. Somebody asks you a question, you're just like, when you're doing pen pal thing, you can take the time to think about it. Now, if you're going to make contacts, you need to be able to find them. So I'm going to give a couple suggestions. Maybe some of you can jump in with some suggestions. But the way I actually made a lot of my contacts of my fountain or my pen pals is through Fountain Pen Network. There's one called it's actually a website. Let me make sure I spell this right. So I'm going to print it. Inco Rimo. I wrote it down so I don't get this wrong. So Inco Rimo, is that .org or .com? Or you could Google it, .org. Little risk there, which I will talk about risk here in a minute. I just lost the screen that has this whole live stream on it. Now found it. Okay. Oh, welcome, Marilyn Gardner. So we're talking about pen pals today. I see we were up to 16. Somebody just said, enough of that, and left. So glad to have you from Madison, Wisconsin. That's a city I would love to explore. So Inco Rimo is good. But I'd just be curious if there's others. While I was looking this up, I did find various pen pal websites. So it's out there. Again, it's some people file these things. Some people don't. I'm not a filer. Some people are, they keep years and years of correspondence for, the future people to go through year after year. So I did all that with this Centro Pen 10014 with the beautiful chatoyant finish. Let's go for its more dowdy cousin. Well, brother. Let's go brother or sister. I guess they don't have genders. This is same pen, just Maybe it's brother and sister because this one's definitely lived a rough life. um, but let's talk about some of the other things. If you have a pen pal, what do you do for topics? What actually are you going to talk about? And again, if any of you do the pen pal thing, feel free to jump in. For me, weather works. That's safe, especially when you're just getting to know somebody. In this fountain pen world, pens are a natural, well, and ink. I have one pen pal that always surprises me with different kinds of paper, and I'm just like, whoa, where'd that come from? Um, the area where you live, especially if it has cool attractions or even boring attractions. I mean, talk to me about Central Illinois if you're from there. I'm not. I don't know Central Illinois. I've only really driven through like one corner of Illinois, and it's called Chicago. Um, that's in the beginning. As you get to know other people more, as you get to know your pen pal more and trust them, you can get into some more personal stuff. I don't like to lay anything super heavy on my pen pals usually. Um, hobbies are always a safe one. What else do you have? Feel free to jump in. I can add them to the concept map. But I think one important thing we need to take off on the topics and the how to contact them is privacy. I don't know if you know some people who overshare. I'm guilty of that sometimes. Sometimes you're just thinking, no, just shut up now. Don't need to know this. Um, ooh, good one. So Kathy Scott brought up books. Yes, we'll throw books in there. That's an awesome one. Ooh, my goodness gracious, 114 degrees, and it feels like 117. Yipe. What is it here? Can't see my thermometer, so I'm going to cheat and use the internet and look up what it is right now. 68 degrees here, so I am, well, not half your temperature, but quite a lot cooler here. 68 degrees here in southwestern North Dakota right now. But yes, books is a good one. Marilyn Gardner supports that one. But yeah, oversharing. Now, another thing with your address, if you're doing pen pals, you may actually be sharing where you live. Most of my neighbors actually have mailboxes on the street. I chose not to. I chose to get a P.O. box for various reasons. But, if you do pen pals, it might be smart to think about that because, if you say, I live at 31 4th Street in Bismarck, North Dakota, then somebody can just go on Google Maps and, oh, now they've got a nice house. They must have money. I don't know if that's a nice address or not. Let's just see if the sparkles showed up here on the pen pals. I used that Emerald of Chivor. Well, if they are, I'm not seeing it on. Oh, I guess I'm seeing it in the P. There we go. I used that Emerald of Chivor with a pilot, not vanishing point. What the heck are they called? Ooh, pets. So my pets would be a very short list. I've got a sourdough starter. Sometimes I guess I could talk about my neighbor's pets, or do they count as pets if they come into your yard and they're not welcome because they eat your garden? I'm just trying to get that a little closer. I see on the screen it's kind of small. So those of you who are watching this on a mobile device are like, oh, what? Especially if you're like me and you're getting older and harder to see small things. Ooh, cooking and food. Yeah, and I actually do cook. Tonight I didn't. I've got what are we going to call it? Anyway, it's kind of a spaghetti pie I'm going to make. It's Mexican sort of. Anyway, so in terms of privacy, okay, yeah, gardening. That'd be a hobby, right? Plants and vegetables. Oh, so see, we got garden, we've got sourdough. Okay, good for you. I actually started one during the pandemic, during the lockdown part of it. And then when summer came, I kind of gave up on it. But I decided to restart it last fall. And since then, I have not eaten any food any bread from a store. Plants and vegetables, absolutely. Okay. So, post office box, oversharing, just what should be personal. I think unless you know somebody really well, maybe be careful of like religion or politics. Anyway, privacy is important. That's one of the things that worries me. Like I went on Inco Rimo and I found out, oh, we're just putting our addresses out there. That was a little uncomfortable to me. Now, when you have pen pals, don't just limit yourself to the US. You can get international pen pals. I don't have very many at the moment, but I have a few. And that is a lot of fun. Just learning about different things. I have one pen pal, I won't say what country, but was talking about the schools in his country, was worried about his daughter's school. And I just thought, wow, your complaints sound exactly like American parents. Oops, wrong color. So you get that. And so other times you think, oh, wow, I wish I had that in this country. I see Nick brought up discoveries from space. I'm going to put neutral news. Things like discoveries from space are pretty exciting. They're not going to get anybody too riled up. You talk about the latest thing Donald Trump tweeted, and who knows what you're going to get as a response. Yeah, go get him, or how dare you. So it might be better. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people started it during the quarantine. Like I said, I started it too, and then I gave up. And then this last fall, I decided to start it again. And I'm glad I did. Like I said, I've been baking my own bread ever since. Oh, yeah, and there's why you don't give out your address. Okay, I don't actually know what post crossing is. I'm guessing you mean you each send a postcard to each other and then pick it up if you want to as a pen pal thing, or you don't. I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard that term before. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't want that button. There we go. That's helping the brightness a lot. I thought it was dark. Okay, so for international pen pals, one of the things to think about is you need international stamps. Now, if you're in other countries, every country has its own way of dealing with international mail. So figure it out for yourself if you're not in if you're not in the United States. But in the US, we use international stamps. They're circular. Let's see if it'll focus on this. There we go. Except maybe if I turn it like this, you can actually read it. You don't see here in the US, you don't see many designs for these international stamps, but I did have a pen pal looking at this going, oh my gosh, that is scary. Because he saw global USA forever and then a year and didn't realize that it wasn't some sort of imperialistic thing. It's global means this is a stamp to use globally, and forever means I'm not going to have to add extra postage to it to make up the value if the price of the international stamps changes. And I've seen 3 different designs. There's this one, no, 4 designs. This one, I've seen a wreath. There's some kind of a green thing, and then there's a yellow and brown flower. Okay, so Post Crossing is a site you can sign up for that will do a random match within the parameters you set. Okay, that's interesting. Write a couple of words in other languages. Bueno. Oops. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got 2 people who'd come from the Nikaya. Oh, yeah, and that would be a fun one just to I'm going to put it on the international. That would be a great way to learn a language, is to actually communicate with somebody. You know, if you're a teenager in Germany communicating with a teenager in the US, your schools may be different, but the school experience would be something you'd have in common. Let's see, we're up to 20 viewers now. But yeah, differences and similarities, that is also interesting. One of the things I've found with international is the time can be a problem. I mean, literally, I have a pen pal who's in Australia. He's probably having breakfast right now because it's about that time in Australia. But anyway, it took months for our pen pal letters to get back and forth at first. We figured out some cheats around it, but apparently sending letters to Australia takes a while. Now, when I send them to other countries, it doesn't take as long. I don't know what the difference is, but for a while there, the US was not sending letters to Australia, so I'm glad they gave that up. Anyway, international stuff is also complicated. Oh, military also solicits pen pals. Where was I putting that? I was putting that over here. Yeah, and that's actually, again, that's that human contact thing. Military has a T in it, I think. Well, we'll just scribble the Y and hope for the best there. But yeah, the international pen pal thing is I've found that very interesting. Some of them haven't kept with me. Another thing to keep in mind with your international pen pals, maybe keep in mind some cultural or political things. I had a pen pal in Singapore for a while, and you just want to be a little more sensitive with a few things when you write to somebody in one of those countries, especially some of these countries. They'll read your mail, or even just seeing a USA on the envelope makes neighbors suspicious. So, just be mindful of that if you do the international pen pal thing. Now, I would assume if they're seeking you out, they've got a way to figure it out, but just keep that in mind. Okay, and yeah, COVID. Okay, yeah, as far as I know, I haven't caught COVID, but still out there. Let's see. Trying to find my pen that I was doing the topics in. I don't know how it is in other countries. Here in the US, that one can be very fraught with political overtones, because I know people who honestly believe that the whole thing is fake and that the vaccine is just a government attempt to control us all. So, Um, I always, when I write a pen pal letter at the bottom, oops, I've already used that pen. Let's use a different pen. Since I just reviewed it this week, let's use my Garant Alcor. Yeah, I understand with the vaccine that people are coming off. It's not as bad as it was, without the vaccine, but that's why we get the vaccine. So yeah, hopefully you feel better. Glad we're able to keep you socially distanced company, all 19 of us. Uh, I always, with my pen pal letters, I make sure at least at the bottom of the page, I'll tell what pen I used on that page and what ink. So I switch ink and pen up between each page of my letter. So, and again, that's a topic. I really love this Grand Alcor. OMG. East German pens are the best. So, ID your pens. You can talk about nibs. You should ID the ink too. I don't have a category for ink. Sometimes I've read letters and I just think, wow, that looks really nice. I wonder what pen they used. Other times, not so much. But you could talk about pens. Like I said, because it is a private letter, I'm not going to show it to you. But I have a pen pal who I just got a letter from her actually, where she used a very interesting paper. So that brings up the whole stationery thing. So this is my Pilot Custom Heritage 92. Pulled that during my pens in use also. But yeah, stationery is a good topic because we are all pen nerds. I mean, most of us that are in this thing. There's people that get into the pen pal thing for reasons totally unrelated to fountain pens. Okay, I'm just making sure it's going to behave itself. Oh, yeah, calligraphy. I have found that some people, well, different countries teach handwriting differently, and some countries don't teach it at all. But even have different styles of handwriting, different ways to shape the letters. I have one I'm about to mail back, and I'm going to have to email the guy because I honestly cannot read the address. I literally cannot read it. I cannot make out what it's supposed to be. But yeah. And, part of the pen pal thing, whether it's an international or whatever, is you're reading somebody's handwriting, and that can be very intimate. Cost of living. In fact, yeah, I actually sent the grocery flyer to one of my pen pals. He was curious about American grocery stores. I'm just going to write cost because I don't really have a whole lot of room left there. But yeah, stationery. I have pen pals who send them in different letters. Did I say letters? Papers. The Mona Lisa gave me this paper. It's unique. You have your different. Some people do different kind of folds. I did that briefly, but a couple of them complained because they said, well, it's a pain because then they want to file it and it's all crinkled. So, but you can do different folds. I just sold a pen, Pelican M800, if you're interested. I just sold a Pelican M800 out of my collection. And so I did my nice leaf fold and stuck a thank you for buying into the pen box. I don't have the leaf fold handy, but here's an example of an epistolary fold. But you've got your different papers, your different folds. There's all kinds of fancy envelopes. Speaking of that, I used to like using was called airmail paper. It was a lot like, I don't know, whoops, you couldn't see any of that. A lot like tracing paper. Okay, quotes. Oops. I actually, when I bought, what was it? This pen, it came with an origami swan. That was kind of fun. I am not real good at origami, but that would be fun. Welcome, Will Hodge. And I see we're up to 23 people. Speaking of envelopes, I was going to bring this up later, but what the heck? Let's bring it up now. There are templates you can use. You can make your own envelopes. This is a Japanese style envelope, and I think European also. This one does US style envelopes, but not letter sizes. I found out much to my chagrin. So let's see. Did I put this one up? Yeah, origami animals. Yes, ODE is the Kavernacle guru. I very knowledgeable about them. Welcome, Tess. I'm glad you're here. It's okay. It's all recorded, so it'll be here later. I was actually about to talk about you briefly. So I don't want to share anything personal, but I thought this was really cool. I don't have that kind of talent. But that was in a recent pen pal letter. So, of course, we got our stationery. And then I think I want to use a fine nib for this one. Yeah, it just came this week. Actually, before I go on to this other thing, I want to come back to the ink thing for a minute. So I recently filmed nobody has seen it yet except for me, but I filmed a video about the Majon A1 fountain pen, which is a clone of this. This is a Pilot Vanishing Point. But anyway, when you're writing with an ink in your pen pal letters, make sure it's legible. There are some inks like I absolutely love the color of Private Reserve Buttercup, but what an awful ink to actually read. Or as you're writing, you're like, I can't even read what I just wrote. So make sure you use legible inks. Anyway, I was about to do one that I need a fairly fine nib pen, and I seem to have used them all up. Oh, here we go. Okay, a weathergram. I haven't actually read your letter yet. I was saving it for tomorrow, but I did open it. So I was telling everybody about the really cool paper you used. I didn't want to show them because, it's private. So this is a Kavernacle Lilliput. So another thing here with pen pal letters, as I just showed you, is you can get into what I'm going to call the fancy stuff. My fourth grade teacher always made us write our quotes just like how they're printed, where you have the dot and then the curly Q, and they had to do dot curly Q up and then dot curly Q down on the other side. I absolutely hated it. And clearly that lasted through fourth grade and then never again for the rest of my life. But fancy stuff can be fun. A lot of people really get into this. Like I was saying earlier, you can make your own envelopes. I think I can get a little closer now. I know how big this thing's going to be. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of calling it concept mapping, but it probably isn't really concept mapping. But I thought it would be just something different to do because I wanted to have some pens and writing in this thing. Oh, we've got our envelopes. I already mentioned the fun folds you can do. One of the things, I'm not a stamp collector, but I do enjoy finding fun stamps to put on letters. Let me set my pen down and talk about that just briefly. Oh, jokes. Yeah, that would be another good one to share. And that could be fun too, because just different cultures will have different jokes, different sense of humor. It's also kind of interesting. Some cultures are what you might consider blunt, and some are more not blunt. So here's the stamps I'm currently working through. Peanuts. That may mean less if you're not in the US. For like bills and stuff, I usually just buy a whole roll of like the same kind of stamp. So here's a Lunar New Year. This is, what year is this? Year of the Tiger. Whoops, almost slid my pile of stuff away. When the Year of the Tiger runs out, I have Chief Standing Bear. And here's a batch of stamps. I bought these first when we had a almost total solar eclipse here in North Dakota. We were at like 95% a few years ago. And these stamps are heat sensitive. Now, they're in the plastic wrapper still, so I don't know if this is going to work. But they're supposed to, when you heat them up, they're supposed to change color. It's probably a lot easier if I don't have the plastic over top of it, insulating it. But very fun stamps. Yeah. So like I said, I don't collect stamps, but I do enjoy just putting different kind of stamps on letters. I haven't really gotten into it. I have a bee sticker somewhere I haven't used, so maybe I could do that. But I know some of my pen pals like to use stickers. Yeah, those were good stamps. But stickers. One thing I have used is washi tape. I'll show you why here. So I have about 40 zillion of the same kind of envelope. I was writing on this one thinking it was a used one, only it wasn't, to make this title. But anyway, what these do is you fold up here, no moisture necessary, just raise, flap, and seal. And supposedly you can just press them down. Okay, this one's holding, well, no, it's not holding together that great. I'm finding a lot of them aren't holding together that great. It's not that good of a batch. So what washi tape is, it's kind of like masking tape, only it's fancy. You've got skinnier stuff. Some of them are like little individual flowers you can peel off. I had some I was using for a while that were dots, individual dots you'd pull off. That was fun. A little annoying, but fun. But anyway, then you can, and I'm only going to do part of this, even though I should go the whole way across because I'm going to demonstrate something else. But anyway, oops. Anyway, then you can glue it down. And then add something extra decorative and a little more security on your envelope. I got an envelope from a pen pal recently that was wide open. I think they actually forgot to seal it. Luckily, well, as far as I know, nothing fell out. Who knows? Maybe they had $100 bill in there for me, but the letter was there anyway, so that was the important thing. Yeah, washi tape is just kind of fun. And let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, some people put other fun things in there. I'm going to save that envelope for a minute. I had one person send me a whole bunch of lavender seeds, which they didn't sprout, but it was a nice thought because they thought it would go well with my house. I was showing this, which apparently is called a weathergram. Trying to remember which pen pal. It might have been the same pen pal, actually. Have to tell me. Before Belarus Back when Belarus was just one of the few remaining dictatorships in Europe, uh, this is a cool bit of Belarusian money. Now they're known as the place where Russia staged its invasion of Ukraine, but yeah, you can see why they sent that to me. So sometimes you get some fun things in the mail like that. Every so often, I've sent photographs from time to time. That's usually the thing I send. And then one fun thing you can do for fancy stuff is you can do wax seals. Now, there's lots of ways to do a wax seal. Yeah, that is one of the things I've heard is not all of them will make it through, especially if it's a harder wax. Nowadays, a lot of the waxes are more flexible. So let's just see what we can do here. So I was watching a video. In fact, I'm going to put the link into this video description after I get this published, where the guy was talking about wax seals, and he had a different method. He was putting the wax into like a special spoon and heating it over some kind of a little lantern, and then he poured it onto the letter, and then he was able to stamp it. I'm not that fancy. What I do have is this. So you got to let it burn just a little bit. I have trouble with them going out. So sometimes I cheat. Just really dose it with the lighter. But you're supposed to let it burn for like 30 seconds. See, it wants to go out again. And then tip it, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, so now we'll tip it. It's a little nerve-wracking to me sometimes, if the wax falls on and it's drips some flame with it onto the letter, and then I'm like, I don't like this. A little bit of a slow process too, and if I'm doing this wrong, I'd love for somebody to jump in. Wax seals come in all kinds of different colors. I bought, these are gold. I have some green ones, blue ones. And they're just little candles. One of the mistakes I found out I was making with, see, now the fire went out. One of the mistakes I found out I was making was I totally forgot. Oh, I was pressing down with the wax seal, and you're not really, oops, see, the little flame dripped off. You're not really supposed to do that. Apparently, you're just supposed to let it rest on there, so we're going to do that here, but. Okay. That look big enough? We'll call it big enough. All right. So I have, guess what? So just let it dry on there for a second. All right, so I love wax seals, but just to hand to people in hand, not through the mail. Yeah, that's probably safest. Or again, to put it inside something. Okay, NaCoWriMo is in February, which here is Black History Month, so I use all Black History stamps. Oh, good idea. Okay, sounds like I'm doing it okay, just need to increase the angle to drip faster. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I've seen that. Yeah, well, the wax I have comes that way, but they do sell them also that they're like these little hexagons that you melt in a spoon. So we've got I didn't do it perfectly. I should have dripped more wax. But anyway, we've got a squirrel. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know. I actually wanted my thing came with some of the hexagons. Let me go grab them. Just you all talk amongst yourselves for a second. Atomic Elf. I didn't know that the wax came with a wick inside. Yeah, I buy these from Cognitive Surplus. So they're just like little candles. Of course, now all my pen pals are going to expect washi tape and a wax seal. So these are little hexagons I was talking about. The video I'm going to put in the link. He just melted these. He had a special whole apparatus to melt these in a spoon and then pour them on. I eat from my spoon, so you know. So ODE says, oops, the hot glue gun are very flexible. Yeah, they have to be flexible. And that's pretty flexible. Of course, why do you think I bought it? Um, yeah. So I will, after I finish here, I will take a picture of the. In fact, why don't I take the picture right now so I don't forget? And I will upload it to the video description. Kind of like how I do with pens in use when I remember. Oh, okay. Try it. Oh, no, that's not going to work. So apparently I've got a security update coming tonight. So that's exciting on my phone. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had to get a squirrel. Um, yeah, the glue gun. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but it makes sense. And the squirrel isn't actually the only one I own, because originally I bought it came with the gold, a bee, and I needed it like to need a head in my a hole in my head, but I just liked the octopus. Yeah, the vintage wax, from what I've seen, it was a lot more brittle. So this is designed to be much more flexible. I was impressed. One of my students who, let's just say, isn't somebody you'd think of as being particularly classy, on his graduation announcements, they all came with a wax seal. Good morning, Dean. Glad to have you here. It's about 7:50, almost 8 o'clock. So glad to have you. Okay, so Atomic Elf traditional wax seals are hard and inflexible. It was part of the purpose to show if it had been tampered with. Yeah, that's true. Um, Nowadays, if the government really wants to get into this and read what I wrote to Pen Pal Livestream, I'm sure that they can get in, read the contents, and seal it back up, and Pen Pal Livestream will be none the wiser. All righty, I'm trying to think if I have anything else to show down here. Why don't I show you what I brought over here? This is horrifying. So I brought over a whole bunch of pens. I don't think there's any spoilers here of upcoming. Nope, there's no spoilers here of upcoming videos. I often have my spoilers in here. I just put them all together, but no spoilers here. A couple revisits here. Survivor pens are here, but no new pens you haven't seen before. I used to take this everywhere with me, but now I have a different case that I use. No, this is the case I use. Never mind. The old one just had a single like elastic strap. This one has individual compartments for the pen, and since I'm not actually traveling, I don't put them in the elastic. I just leave them out, and this just gives me a convenient place to put them all while they're sitting on my end table. Justice. Oh, yeah, I've got a Pilot Justice. Where to go? Here somewhere. Yeah, I've been using that. So I don't think I have anything else to show you other than, for this concept map. I did plan it out ahead of time a little bit on my Remarkable tablet. It's not the same as using paper. Oops. But sure is handy. Alrighty. So flip back up to me. Oh, look, I'm standing on my head. Get this right here. So, yeah, if this was all an edited video, it wouldn't look this sloppy. Wrong button. Trying to get that white glare off of my face. Get that up a little more. And maybe straighten it so it doesn't look like my house is all cattywampus. The desk is slightly cattywampus. So now I can move the computer a little closer so I can actually read everything. Yeah, my face. Oh, in the pens. Yeah, there's a lot of chatoyance in a couple of them. Fun batch of pens that I had. I still don't like my background. I have to remember that with the short focal length, sometimes things aren't going to be totally in focus or balanced the way I'd like them. Well, I don't know if that really helped at all, but anyway. All right, put that one up already. Anyway, I see I've got 26 people here. Sounds like some of you are dealing with a lot of heat. I'm really not. As I said earlier, it was 68 degrees when I started this live stream. Let's see, it's probably dropped a little bit since then. Oh, yeah, we're down to 65 degrees right now. Let's see if I can convert that to Celsius real quick. Not something I do in my head very well. Convert 65 Fahrenheit to Celsius. So yeah, it's 18 degrees here in southwestern North Dakota right now. Yeah, I love that Omas Ojiva. Just a beautiful pen, and that nib is so much fun. It's sad that Omas is no longer with us, and I was watching Big Boot on pens the other day. He had a Omas 360. He had the larger version than the one I own, and I just thought, missed out on that. I need a drink after an hour of talking. So a little chemistry lesson. Gases dissolve better in cold water. So this was colder when I got it out of the faucet. It's been sitting here for an hour, so it's warmed up, and so the gas that was dissolved in it is starting to come out of solution. I can't stop being a science teacher. So I'm surprised those of you in Europe that are up so late. Honored. I'm glad you're here. I'm still trying to figure out the best time to do these live streams, or if I just want to bounce around and do different times throughout the year. I was going to try to do them every month. So far, I've been failing at that, but I fail at a lot of things in my life. Spell correct. Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, Olivia. I actually taught an Olivia once. Yeah, that's spell correct. Especially if they're foreign words or their names, and it's just trying to fix them. No, that's what I meant to write. So automated spell correct is a blessing and a curse at the same time. You can see it's getting toward evening here. I'm guessing some of you are, well, those of you in Europe are definitely in the night. Those of you on the East Coast, it's probably dark there by now, I'm guessing. Those of you on the West Coast, warming up, or sorry, starting to get dark. Yeah, if you want to. I don't like notifications because they're annoying. So I allow like the emergency notifications, and that's about it on my computer. Um, it does. I'm not sure how it works, but somehow apparently people knew that I had a live stream coming. I know on my subscription feed on YouTube, it'll tell me when there's a live stream coming, and then I can watch or not watch as I so choose. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Um, that seems to be what just about all my pen pals do. They always identify the pen and ink they're using. Some of them, they have different ways they do it. Some of them just do a list at the very end where they do a little swatch, the name of the pen and ink. Some of them do it at the bottom of the page. Some of them like, oh, I'm starting a new thought, so I'm going to start a new pen. Well, however you do it. Okay. If I'm remembering right, I set this up on Wednesday afternoon. I know it was after I had published my, excuse me, my Grand Alcor video. So, yeah, it must show up. Yeah, it could be. And YouTube is funny. Sometimes I find out a week later, oh, this video I really want to see was produced by somebody that I'm subscribed to last week, and it never showed up on my subscriptions. 86 Fahrenheit. Yipe. No, here it is. Well, like I said, 65 degrees now. I do have my air conditioner running, but only as a fan. It just kind of it's nice to have a breeze, especially today we have so much flipping smoke in the air. Smells like a forest fire. Yep, same thing here. We have the unhealthy air. I went for a walk. I needed to pick up a few groceries, so I walked out to the store, and holy cow, I don't usually get out of breath doing that, but I actually was. Okay, you're further north than me, and you're warmer, but you've got a nice ocean to warm you up too, so I guess that helps. 25 degrees isn't horrible, though. Okay, yeah, and I suppose the notification for the live stream would show, and I don't do notifications, so I don't know this, but I suppose it would show up early enough to give you a warning, but not so early that you forget about it. Okay, in Denver. I just think of Denver as cold, but I do realize that you're hot also. It's like North Dakota. People always think it's cold here, but we have very hot summers. We just haven't gotten to the hot part yet. So 100-degree temperatures happen here, 100 plus. I remember I was still living in Turtle Lake at the time. I think my parents were visiting then. I don't remember. Maybe not. Anyway, 125 degrees one day. Back then, I didn't have air conditioning. Did have a nice basement, though, so I was sleeping in the basement. Anyway, I kind of running dry on topics. When I start saying anyway, that's usually a sign that I'm running out of things to say unless somebody asks questions. But I did want to thank you all for joining in, seeing the Pen Pal thing. And I think an hour is a decent length for a live stream. I know there are Twitch streamers and stuff that'll go for hours and hours, and I just can't do that. I was watching kind of listening because I was doing some work at the time, but listening to the Kavernacle today had a article about what were they called, NPCs on TikTok, and it was all women, but they would get texts like balloon, and then they go poop, and then texts that say ice cream, they go yummy ice cream, and that's all the videos were, and I'm just like, what? But apparently money came along with this somehow. I know the one lady, there was so much going on in the screen. Was, what? The one screen had like this little mailbox with dollar bills just flying out of it, and text scrolling up and text down the side. Like, holy cow! And it's on a vertical screen. How do you do this? And it's a little screen like this, and just not my kind of thing. Yeah, I have seen that. Our main street is pretty good, but I have seen that on pavement where it just gets so hot that it actually softens and a vehicle can rut it. Yeah, glad you were here. Tess, good to hear from you. Um, I don't know where I was going with that story about the NPC thing, but it's just something I saw. I just like, and people watch that. So I think it's more fun to watch fountain pen stuff myself, but yeah, everybody has their thing. So anyway, I want to thank you all for joining in. Um, okay, so you had the announcement pop up and then the opportunity to choose to get a reminder. Okay. See, I don't do announcements. I don't do that. And, the laptop functionality is sometimes missing what's on the mobile technology also. So very helpful to know all that. So thank you. If anybody has any ideas about when I could do my next live stream, it'll be in August. I know one day it will not be, but other than that, I'm pretty free any weekend in August. If you've got ideas, I want to hit my European viewers and my American viewers. So just trying to figure out the best time, best day. And so feel free to leave a comment down below. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching, joining in on this fun. Like I said, I always get so nervous and I dread these things. And then once I get into them, I enjoy them. So thank you for making this an enjoyable hangout with now 24 people. So thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. And where's the end broadcast button? Professional ending. There it is. Oh, end the broadcast. Not yet. And okay. Do it again.